Hi, welcome to Before You Go. I'm James Drake, and today I'm going to talk about Ant-Man. I'm going to give some background on him and what we might see in the film or films and what we won't. Let's begin with the first Ant-Man, Hank Pym, who in the movie is portrayed by Michael Douglas. In the comic books, Dr. Hank Pym discovered a rare group of subatomic particles which became known as Pym particles. When ingested, the particles could either shrink a person down to the size of an ant or increase a person's size to anywhere from 10 to 100 feet in height. He first used this power to shrink down to the size of an ant and used a cybernetic helmet to help communicate and control ants. He later used the particles to grow and became Giant Man. He stopped doing that when he found out that constantly changing his size was putting too much of a strain on his body. When his wife Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, was kidnapped by Automa and the Collector, Pym helped the Avengers rescue her and became Goliath. After some experimenting in his lab, an accident changed Pym's personality, and he claimed that he had murdered Pym and became the Yellow Jacket. During the secret invasion, it was revealed that Pym was a Skrull imposter, and Pym returned to see his wife die due to modifications his Skrull imposter had made to her powers. Pym renamed himself the Wasp in honor of her and formed a new Avengers team. Now for the second Ant-Man, Scott Lang, portrayed by Paul Rudd in the movie. In the comics, Lang was an electronics expert who briefly turned to crime to support his family. He was arrested, then let out early for good behavior, and then worked at Stark Industries. His wife later divorced him and gave him custody of their daughter, Cassie. He learned that Cassie needed an expensive heart operation, but her surgeon had been kidnapped. He resorted back to crime, breaking into the home of Dr. Hank Pym and stole the Ant-Man costume and formula. After rescuing the surgeon and saving Cassie, Scott turned himself in, but Pym decided to allow him to continue as Ant-Man. Now in the movie, Pym is an old man and hasn't done as much as he has in the comics, or at least as far as I know he hasn't. There's also no Janet Van Dyne mentioned in the casting or seen in the trailers, and so there isn't a Wasp. But there is a Hope Van Dyne who helps Lang train, so she could become the MCU's Wasp, but I could be wrong. On top of that, the villain in this movie is the Yellow Jacket, played by Corey Stoll. So there are major differences from the comics, but they can still grab from them and modify the stories to fit however they want. I'm excited to see where this movie is going, and I can't wait for it to come out. Thank you for watching. I'm James Drake, and now you know before you go.